all of our projects today, I'm going to be using the Dollar Tree Tumbling Tower Blocks or Jenga Blocks, and I had purchased a case of 6 of the large sets of blocks from DollarTree.com. First, I'm taking my Starbond super glue, and I started gluing 4 blocks together to make a long row. My Starbond glue didn't really hold these together too well. It was more like absorbing into the wood. So I do end up switching over to my hot glue and using the Gorilla hot glue sticks, and that worked out just fine. I did want a bit more of a secure hold, but this ended up working out just fine for this project. And you're going to want to make 40 sets of 4 blocks each to create this project. So I'm taking this drum lampshade. It's a 5-inch lampshade that I got from Facebook Marketplace. I believe I got it for about $6. And then I'm also taking this embroidery hoop, which I got from Hobby Lobby. And this is a 10-inch size embroidery hoop. First, I'm going to take just a scrap piece of wood from my garage, place the lampshade on top, and then separating the embroidery hoops, I placed one on the bottom. Then we're going to start taking our tumbling tower block sticks, is what I'm going to call them, and we're going to start placing them around the lampshade and around the embroidery hoop. So I started out with one like on all 4 sides so that I could get everything attached. Again, I am just using my Gorilla hot glue stick, and here is an image of what we're actually making. It's a Scandinavian inspired lampshade, and they use more like paint stir sticks or like thin scrap wood, but I thought this would be really cool to make with the tumbling tower blocks or Jenga blocks, whichever you would like to call them. So I started hot gluing them both to my lampshade and then also to the bottom part of the embroidery hoop. For this second embroidery hoop, I did cut off a small portion of it so that it would be the same exact size as my first embroidery hoop, because the second one's always a little bit larger. But I'm going to flip my lampshade upside down now, and we're going to place that second embroidery hoop on the bottom, just like we did the first one, and we're going to repeat that same process. So we're going to start taking our tower block sticks, and we're going to place them right up against the ones that we had first attached, and do the same thing, attaching them to both the lampshade and to the embroidery hoop, just using our hot glue. And again, this worked out just fine. I don't know that this will hold up for long-term use, especially with this being a lamp, but we'll see. It's gonna work just fine for a decorative purpose. So here I am just going back and forth, placing all of my sticks around, and every time I would place my sticks going one direction, flip my lampshade over, place them going the opposite direction. And this really did not take long at all to create. Once I had all of my block sticks glued down in place, I am taking this Hema IKEA lamp cord kit. I'm not really sure what these are even called or how to pronounce IKEA names. I think we all struggle with that. But just attaching this to my lampshade, and that's it for this project. I absolutely love how this turned out. Now, the one I was inspired by on Pinterest was a lot larger, but I really love the size of this one that I made. It's still fairly large. If you think about it, a 10-inch embroidery hoop is still pretty big. But I have this hanging over top of my desk in my living room, and I just absolutely love the little accent. Friends, today I am co-hosting with Melissa from Melissa Makes It DIY in her monthly So You Think You Can Craft challenge. This month, the material that we are using is the Jenga blocks or tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. This is an open challenge, so make sure you check out my description box for the playlist link to see all of the other creators and see what amazing things they came up with using the Dollar Tree Jenga blocks. Of course, I will also link our host Melissa's channel in my description box. Make sure you check her out as well. Let's get back into it. For project number 2, I have this foam core board that I'm cutting down to be 17 inches long by 4 inches wide. And this is just a scrap piece of foam core board that I've used over and over again. As you can see, other things have been cut out of it. But once I have this piece cut down, we're going to be making a little hanging shelf, like an industrial type looking shelf. I did just paint this board with my mineral color chalk paint because I didn't want it to be white, just in case you could see through the blocks a little bit, but that part may not be necessary. Next, I'm just taking all of my blocks and we're just going to start gluing them right down in a row in a straight line all the way across the top of the foam core board. Once I get to the second row, I'm going to place my block, as you can see here, in the middle of the block is going to be where 2 of the previous blocks meet on the row above it so that it has a little bit of a staggered look. And I'm going to repeat this process all the way across this foam core board, alternating the rows and where they are placed. Next, I want to cut off those pieces that are hanging off of the edge. So I'm just using my miter box here with my saw and just cutting those down so that it is a nice straight line. I was going to leave the shelf just like this, but I thought it could use a little bit more of a finished look. So I grabbed more of my Jenga blocks and I'm going to start gluing them all the way around the border, but this time they're going to be up and down. So you can see the ones we glued down to the foam core board were laying down flat, and these ones are going to be up on their side. And I just glued them all the way around the edge. I did end up having to cut 2 of the pieces down because they would not fit whole. Next, I'm taking these plant hangers that you can find at the Dollar Tree. I did grab 2 packs of them because I need 4 and only 3 of these chain link parts come in one package. So you can see what I'm doing here. I just attached 2 of them together so that I would have a longer strand. And then I am going to attach it to itself. Not quite at the top. I did leave about 3 links loose, and then I connected the bottom of the chain to 3 links down from the top. And that was it for this one. So easy, and I just love the modern industrial look of this one. Let me know what you guys think. For any of these projects that I am doing today, you could certainly paint the blocks, stain the blocks, whatever your preference would be. I am really into the natural wood look right now, so I decided to leave them exactly how they come. For project number 3, I'm taking this frame that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the back and then also remove those little clips that hold the back down in place. Once I do that, I am going to take a 220 grit sandpaper and just scuff up the edges of the frame because this is not made out of real wood. It's actually just covered with paper. And then I'm going to paint the frame with my black chalk paint. I also do paint the back of the cardboard insert with my mineral chalk paint color, and you can see that here. Next, I'm taking my tumbling tower blocks, and this time we are going to glue them down in a chevron pattern. So I'm just going to do this all the way across my entire cardboard piece that would go inside of the frame. And you can see there are sections where I didn't glue any blocks down. I do end up cutting individual pieces and adding those in to cover the entire cardboard frame or cardboard insert. Once I had everything attached, this is where I had some trial and error. So I wanted to figure out the best and easiest way to cut off the excess blocks that were hanging off the cardboard. I thought my jigsaw would be the best way to go about this. I knew that like a regular miter saw or a table saw was just going to be too powerful. Turns out the jigsaw was a little too powerful as well. It did end up, it cut some of them, and then other ones, it just ended up breaking them completely off the cardboard backing. So I did have to go back and glue those ones on. But for this next part, or the second side of my cardboard piece that I needed to cut off the Jenga blocks from, I thought maybe I would use my handsaw for that since it wouldn't be so powerful like that jigsaw was. This ended up doing the same thing. It was pulling off some of the blocks. It was not going very well. So I ended up giving up on this piece pretty quick, or this method pretty quickly, and then I ended up individually cutting each one down. So I made a mark where they needed to be cut, stuck them into my vise in my garage, and then took my handsaw and cut along my mark that I made. And this was the most time consuming, but it was the best method that I could come up with for making these cuts the way I needed them to be. But after I had everything cut, I just attached them all to my cardboard board. And then I'm going to take some E6000 to attach all of the wood pieces back into the frame. And the last thing I did was just take some vinyl and cut out on my Cricut 907 because that is the house number for my address, and I wanted to stick this out on my front porch. So I'll show you a before and after. This sign is a little bit smaller than what was previously on my porch, but I really love it and it matches my home decor perfectly. Someday I will get to redo that orange stain that is on the wood paneling on my porch, but for now it's gotta stay. For project number 4, we are making a hexagon little frame shelf, and I'm starting out by gluing 7 of these blocks in a row, and we're going to create 6 sets for all the sides of our hexagon. For this one, I did use the Starbond glue, and it seemed to work out. It didn't absorb into the wood as much as the first time I had tried it, and I wonder if the sides are different from the edges when you're gluing the pieces together, because this one seemed to work out just fine. Not really sure what the difference is. But once I had all of my parts, I'm just going to start laying them out in my hexagon shape before I start gluing everything together, just to make sure it all sits right. And it did take me quite a little bit to get that shape completely figured out. There is a little bit of a gap right where all of the sides meet. So what I did was take a dowel rod, I measured it up against the height of a tumbling tower block, cut it down with my miter shears, and then I just used that to reinforce the edges where all of my hexagon sides met together, and that worked out just fine. So next I wanted to create like a little pocket. You know how you see those like wall planters right now that are really popular? You can find them, they're mostly like galvanized. So I thought it would be cool to make one that was like this hexagon little frame. So I started taking more of these Jenga blocks and I am gluing them down around the edges, kind of in a staggered pattern. But once I got down to the very center, there was a small gap in between those bottom two, and I didn't want to cut down another block. So what I did was created a second layer, and I put that very middle piece right on top there to cover that little space. And then I started working my way out to the edges. And by the time I got to the ends, there was just a tiny little bit hanging off and you really couldn't tell. So again, I'm just staggering that second row as well. And I made it slightly lower than the first row. And I really loved the way this turned out. To create the back of our little pocket, I had this hexagon shaped foam core board that I actually cut out a while ago and haven't used it for anything. So I just drew a line across the bottom portion of it so that you wouldn't really be able to see it when this was hung up on the wall. So I just cut that down with my X-Acto knife, painted it with my fawn colored Waverly chalk paint so that it would be a light brown, and then I just hot glued this to the back of my hanging wall planter. That was it for this one. Super easy. Again, I just added in some string of pearls, greenery, and hung it up on my wall. For our last project today, I am taking sets of these Jenga blocks and I am going to put 2 together, and we're going to make 25 sets like this. So you can see I'm just taking 2 of them flat sides together and gluing. Once we have all 25 sets, I'm going to start taking 5 of those and gluing them together in a line. And we're going to do that 3 times, so we have 3 sets of the 5 pairs. Once we have all of those together, now we can start building what is going to be an arch. So you can see I have 1 along the bottom and then 2 on the sides, and then we're going to start to kind of manipulate these to curve. But since they are straight block pieces that don't exactly bend, this was a little difficult to figure out. What I ended up doing was just allowing there to be a gap between them, and then I took some of my Durham water putty, mixed that up, and then I started adding that into all of the cracks. I did hot glue them together where I could at least, and then filled in all of the cracks with my Durham's water putty. Now, I did get slightly carried away with this step and ended up filling in every single little crack and crevice there was on this entire arch. So I actually came up with this idea because I couldn't find any of those Dollar Tree arches, so I figured, why don't I make one and see if I can do it out of the Jenga blocks. Once the wood putty had dried, I took some 220 grit sandpaper and just wanted to knock off any of the big chunks of the wood putty. I did still want it to have some texture. And I apologize if you hear all kinds of background noise. It's a beautiful day, so I figured I would do my voiceover outside. I did paint the arch black, which you can see here. I kind of skipped that step. It is self-explanatory, but next I am just taking some joint compound and spreading it across the surface. So I wanted this to kind of have that German schmear type of look to it. So I wanted to have lots of texture and be able to see that black underneath. Once the joint compound was dry, now I'm just dry brushing over top of it with my mineral color chalk paint, which is like a taupey gray color, my fawn, which is like a light tan beige color, and then also with my antique Waverly wax, which is a darker brown, to give it all kinds of like distressing aged look. And that was all I did for this one. This actually is my least favorite. I don't think I completely achieved the vision I thought that this would be. And I don't think it's actually going to hold up very well, because where those joints are, where that first piece arches, it's really fragile there, and I have a feeling it's just going to fall apart pretty quickly. If anyone has any thoughts on how I could have done a little better to make this stay together, let me know down in the comments. Friends, I would like to invite you to check out my website. I have it linked in my description box below. I have come to the realization that I can no longer keep all of the projects that I am making. There's just not enough space in my house, no matter how much I love and adore some of these projects. So check it out if you are interested. It is a work in progress, but I do have products listed for sale along with some decals that I have made with my Cricut machine. And that's all I got for you today. I'll see you in the next one.